And thank you all for your service, and for the spouses especially. I mean, I'm on borrowed time. You know, I'm like most of you probably are too. So if it wasn't for my lovely bride, I don't know if I could make it. You know, I told her when I got out of the military, I was like, I'm never going to leave you again. And I'm sure all my colleagues in here that served in the military, I'm never going to leave you again. And damn it, we got elected. And I haven't seen my family in almost 8 weeks. So it's one of those things. You know, if you follow a service member's career, if they come out of high school into the military and they serve 20 plus years, there's what I've noticed in the veteran space is there's that little miss of becoming, and for lack of a better term, you miss the opportunity to become an adult. And what I mean by that, from the time that you were a kid to the time you entered the military and you left the military, you've been given clothes, food, shelter, your medical's paid for, the insurance is paid for, and we make these transitions outbound. Those little nuances that have been taken care of for our entire adult life, they're sprung upon us. And a lot of times I see when I'm dealing with veterans, that's the hole that they start to spiral down. And the great things that each one of your companies are doing, I'm curious with the turnover or the you know, if there's something that we could pinpoint, are there problematic issues that you see in the veteran space that maybe we could start addressing in the DoD space? Because I know time frame when a service member's exiting, and you said the recruiting is a big problem. Some bases aren't letting you in because they need to hold on to those bodies, and I can appreciate that. But inevitably, we're going to get out, and it hurts my heart to see, because when Eli and Derek and myself jumped off the bullet train that we were riding on, it didn't even stop at the station. We literally had to jump off. No taps, no nothing. See you later. My uniforms are still in my locker. And they never looked back, you know. And we had to figure these things out. So I think my question is, one, is there this little focal point that we're missing that maybe we can handle on the DoD side that would assist you all? I'll start with that, and anybody can open up.
Thank you for the question, and thank you for you and your family service. What I would say is talking about transition earlier. We know it as soon as you join, you have an expiration date. You had your MRD. You know when you're getting out. Mine's 2042. And so I know that I'm going to get out of the military. Talk about it, understand it, realize it, internalize it, and bring it through into all the different phases of your career so that it doesn't punch you in the mouth. It's talking about, hey, these are things that are going to change. Talk about how you have to buy insurance. How expensive is insurance? And all the different facets that are going to...
That never happens.
It doesn't.
I promise you. I was an enlisted and officer. This conversation just never came up, especially, and unfortunately, I was injured. So my time frame got cut, and I just had to leave.
I would say, one of the things that I feel we missed out on as we started after 9/11 is that we started to shrink down our training in non-commissioned officer courses and officer courses. And so one of the areas that I think we limited and we got rid of was the general studies portion of it, right? And we're in that portion of general studies. As I was transitioning, I was like, what do I want to be when I grow up? I don't know what that's going to look like. I think about the month of general studies about Army effective writing or financial planning and all that. That stuff was really focused on occupational. And I think there's an opportunity that the military and you all can go back into and saying, what are we doing to help them, again, left of transition, but through every point of training when it comes to professional development and even in counseling. So as you start your career and you end your career, you're already building that resume. You're already talking about the grown-up conversations that you talk about, right? And you're getting exposed to that in a training environment, because that's the one thing that we're really good at is training. So I think there's an opportunity right there is in our academies and in our different professional development opportunities to add that in.
And sir, I'll just say that we have to start seeing employment, post-military service as this preservative benefit of transition. Because if you can take care of employment and find meaningful employment, a lot of the other more dangerous issues that some of our transitioning service members face are mitigated when they have good employment in a network. And I don't think the military sees it that way. And so we really have to work aggressively on this. And we also have to understand that some of these programs, even if they're for more senior enlisted and more senior officers, are really important if the service member has a family. Because if you have a family, your decision-making matrix looks a lot different than if you're going to go home and sit on mom's couch. And it doesn't mean that the other person doesn't have, real fears and concerns, but that person who has a family to take care of will take whatever job they can find, even if it creates long-term problems.
Do you have anything? I ran out of time, I know. I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. Representative